Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to episode 105 of DevChatter. And welcome anyone who just came in from Visual Studio. If you are here on that host, please feel free to click the button to join our channel and get involved in the conversation. Hello everybody. We are just getting started here, and we are ready to write some code here on this nice Tuesday. And for today, I am planning on having us write a little bit of C# and maybe some JavaScript. We'll see if we get there. Yesterday, we started a little bit of code here on the stream to build a new game into our chatbot. So that is what the plan is for today, is we want to finish up that game that we created and see if we can't make it a little bit of fun. I did a little bit of coding outside of the stream, and I will explain that once I do my quick intro and everything. So, hello, I see a bunch of people in the chat saying hello. So welcome, hype, glad to see you're all there. And we are, let's see, what kinds of things? For anyone who doesn't know, hi, welcome, my name is Brendan. This channel here is DevChatter, so that's where we are. If you are interested in getting any more information about the project, you can find a lot of the stuff that we're working on over on our GitHub at github.com/devchatter. So if you want to take a look at any of that code, that's the place to do it. And let's see, other things to mention. That's probably good for now. Let's get started. Okay, so yesterday, not last week, yesterday, we were working on this new duel system. So it lets our chatbot that's over there in the chat window have viewers challenge other viewers, is sort of the way that it works. So I could, for example, duel Stoolpenner, who just showed up in the chat there. And I can do that, and it'll, start up that mode if it's working. Is the bot not running? The bot should be running. Hang on, let me give the bot a good old restart here, because I am messing with it right now. And we'll see what we end up with. In theory, what should happen when we get this working, and in order to see it, you will all need to see my whispers. So I'm going to click over onto the videos section so that we don't have to have the stream inception with like layers and layers of streams going into infinity. Sorry, I gotta click a couple of things. Had to make something dark mode. Why isn't this connecting? There we go. Now the bot started. Okay. So here's what I was suggesting. There we go. So now I can respond to the duel and accept it. And it comes in and it says choose your weapon, rock, paper, or scissors. And I can respond by saying rock. Now in theory, what just happened is that message I typed in there to the bot, it should have received that and stored that in a variable. So I don't know if that worked. We're going to try wiring it together and see what happens. But in theory, that's what should have happened. So I made a couple of changes off the stream, and I'll show those to you real fast. I did one thing, I extracted a method, so no big deal here. What I did was, we had some logic for determining whether or not we were expecting a user to be submitting a value of like rock, for example. And so I moved that onto the duel object. I created a method that's just this one, and it's nice, clean, and works pretty well. So you can see that here. I named the method isExpectingInputFrom. So when we call it, we just say find a duel that is expecting input from that user. So that's essentially what we're using it for. It's find the correct one for that user. If we do find a duel for that user, we are going to apply their selection, which in this case is going to take their message right here. We're going to figure out which one they sent us, and we will store that as their choice. Let's see, so let's do this. First things first, I'm going to adjust how we apply this. So we have a method getByName, and I believe it returns a Boolean. It does, and it does an output parameter. So what I want to say is, if this fails, we're going to return. So we're just going to bail out if we didn't get this value. Once we've figured out, so this converts the text rock into a rock, paper, scissors object. Once we have that, we can come down here, and we want to say, if the person who gave us this is the challenger, and the challenger choice equals null, then apply their choice. Otherwise, if the person is the opponent choice is null, then set the opponent choice. So we're going to do this simply for now. We're going to make this nice and easy, and that shouldn't be too difficult. So, oh, the word was code rush, guys. The word was code rush. How close were you? Oh, not very close. Yeah, so, is the overlay going? I wasn't actually paying attention to that. Is the overlay running? No, the overlay's not going. Weird. Okay, we'll look at that one later. I'm not too worried about it right now. Okay, so we're checking to see if they are the challenger, and that choice is null, set it. Otherwise, if that one, then set that one. Cool. Coated Beard, welcome, good evening. Also, I don't know if I said hi to Pyro, but hey, Pyro. Where's the... Hang on. You guys seriously? Wow, it was C++. That's an evil one. That's one of those ones that's supposed to troll and make sure we lose at Hangman every once in a while. Okay, so anyway... Apart from that, here's what we've got. So we apply the selection. If it was if we got invalid data, I think what we should do is, do we have the chat? No, we don't have the chat client at this point. We're eventually going to want a. Let me make this an iGame. We have a game object in our, we have a game interface in our system that just comes with an isRunning, which I understand that I have the same thing right there, but I think I'd rather be using that value. Bool is running. Oh. Right, the interface doesn't have that value, so it doesn't require that we have one. So there we go. The duel is running. If actually, you know what? I don't. Oh, start. When do we call start? We call it when it's accepted. Not sure. Welcome. Thank you for that host. Is that AI Locks? A-Locks? Probably butchering that name, but welcome. Hello, everybody. Hope you all had a pretty good stream earlier, and I hope you're ready for some C# and JavaScript coding, because that's what we have planned for today. I have a question in chat. Do I know if there are people coding stuff without any variables? You mean set variables and not parameter variables? I mean, Pyro, there are languages where you don't really deal in variables, so sure. Yeah, take care. Hopefully your stream was a good one. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are setting those values, and over here we're gonna check that. We're gonna set those. And then what I want to do is I want to say at the end we need to do a check for check if check if ready to continue, or continue if ready. That's what we'll do. We'll say continue if ready, because we're going to have this finish the code as long as we have both values. So here's what I'm going to do. Create that method, and then what it is going to do is it's going to say if challenger choice is not equal null and opponent choice does not equal null, then we know we can continue because we have those values. If the variable to check the variables for null first should be cheaper than equals. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking that if we didn't have that, then we can continue on. But the trick is, if we check this and it's false, we don't have to check that one. Whereas if we check this, well, yeah, I guess if that one's false, then we could skip it anyway too. So I guess it depends on what we think is more likely to be the one that fails. But yeah, we can flip these. That's actually the reason for the ordering of the other ones as well. So if you check in the method down below, the one I was showing a little earlier, you will see that we ordered the same way. And you're right, the null check's a little bit faster. So down here I did the same thing. I could flip those the other way as well. Not terribly worried about it just yet. And in fact, since those are identical, I might want to pull those out as a method and say, you know, challenger choice needed, opponent choice needed for that player. Okay, anyway. Okay, that is an awesome set of emotes there, Toxic. I love emotes that make things happen, like that do like a pattern. So, for example, I'm a fan of this one. That's like that, and then like that. It makes a cat. It's fun. Okay, Draco, how does a while loop work? You're a bit confused? Yeah, and ThinkBot Labs like the classic one there. Basically, a while loop just has a Boolean value, and it continues until the Boolean value either becomes false, or it you can break out of it. There's various other things you can do with it. I guess it's hard to explain just, you know, in a theoretical sense. But you do bring up a good point, Draco. I do need to schedule my next Learn to Code stream. And for anyone who doesn't know, we do a series of streams here on DevChatter that are designed for covering all the basics of the language. No, Draco, once it's broken out of it once, it will remain out of it forever. It will not come back to that code unless something else sends it back in. So, if you were in a larger loop, you could potentially come back in. Okay, so we're going to say if challenger choice is not null and opponent choice is not null, so clearly we have both. Then we want to... Yeah, no problem, Draco. This is true, Fuel, Snable, and the interesting thing is I have a feeling that if you actually take a look at how the while is implemented in the intermediate language code, I bet you'll find that a while loop actually is just doing a label go-to style trick. I bet that's what's actually compiled out of it. Okay, so continue if ready. What do we want to do in this duel? We need to determine the winner and display it. So I'm actually going to do it as run contest. And the reason I'm going to put another method for this is the fact that I want it to eventually support things that aren't just playing rock, paper, scissors. I'd like other games to be able to play in a duel, so you could have, you know, various things that require some kind of response. So that's the idea. Jen's duck is correct. White space is white space. But we devs do like our fights over complete, nothingness. So devs are weird. I don't know why. I don't know why we're so crazy. The Emacs VI thing, whether or not we should be using tabs or spaces, it's crazy. Okay, so what we want to do is, I want to say challenger's choice dot loses to. How do we determine the winner? I forget that. Announce winners. Get winners. Mod choice loses to. Oh, okay. That's all we did. Alright, we can do that. So here's what we're gonna say. We're going to say challenger choice loses to equals. So if challenger choice loses to equals opponent's choice, then that means opponent wins. Else, if opponent choice loses to challenger choice, challenger wins. Else, tie. Okay. Let me check on chat to see tabs are better. See, there you go. That is true. White space style is and measurable and easy to grasp with angry over them. Also trailing white space or position of curly braces. Yeah, so I do one thing. I don't know if you all have noticed this before, but I do something that would probably that a lot of people would probably find weird when I'm coding things. I leave trailing commas intentionally, and I'm trying to think of where I used one so I can show you why. Do I use one anywhere? I don't have one in here. I will try to remember to show an example of that before the end of the stream. Hey, welcome, Seb the Third. Glad to see you're back. Yeah, it has been a while. We're doing pretty well here. My teacher from school did a tab double space. Her code looked. Wow, Jen's duck. That's a weird one. Double space tabs. Yep. Oh yeah, an enum would be a good one. We have to have an enum, right? Public enum. We're gonna just search for that real fast. User role. Ah, see, I don't even have it. But I usually leave it like this with an extra comma at the end. And the reason I do that is because then I can duplicate any line I want at any point and not have to worry about it. So the reason why that ending comma is nice is because if this is what I have stored in source control, when I do this, it's going to tell me this line was modified. It's going to say I added this bottom line here, right? I added the foo line. Whereas if I had to add this comma and I did it like this, it would tell me this section was modified and it would highlight all of line 8. Even though I had not really modified anything on that line, all I did was add a comma. So that's why I like to leave trailing commas. It's actually quite convenient because you can duplicate whatever you want, you can add to the end. It's quite nice. Let's see. Leading commas to not have to write commas in the end. Oh yeah, so fuel stable. Some people do that. No, I totally get the reasoning for it. Actually, I do that here. That's effectively what I'm doing with these. By having my my OR operator here at the beginning of the line, so when I new line my Boolean logic, I like to put the operator at the beginning of the line instead of the end of the previous because of the fact that I can then remove a whole line and it cuts out that section. So, keeps it lumped together. But we all have our own different styles, so that's just the approach I like to take. Let me fix my curlies there. Okay, so we said this was opponent wins. So return that. So this needs to be some kind of result. So I'm going to make a class right now that we're going to call a duel result. And I want to put on it a boolean for duel is over, and a string message for chat, string message for user, message for user. So we'll set one of those values, use them if we need to. As long as we don't put the curly bracket on the same name as the same curly brace placement. I stand firmly in the boat of whatever is the common way of doing it in your language, that's how you should do it. Period. Like, if that's how it's done in your language, that's how you do it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. This needs to be a... It's not void anymore. This is duel result. So this is... message for user. Invalid choice. There we go. We'll just say that for now. Next thing, down here. So we apply the choice, and then continue if ready needs to return one as well. So this will also be a duel result. And then from this, we need to say return run the contest. Otherwise, we just return a new duel result, and it doesn't, and this one doesn't matter. So we're just not ready to continue, so there's nothing to say here. Okay, this one is also a duel result. And for this, we need to return back which one it is each time. So return int while that ++ gets compiled into. I do wonder, Fuel Snable, because I do like to look at that stuff. What is this? Oh, right. No. Let's see. Duel is over. We're gonna say true. And actually, I just realized we should do this. Return the duel result here. Move that up there, fix this, get rid of this stupid message from eSharper that's annoying as crap, and change this to result. And then we're going to say result message for chat equals the duel between challenger and opponent was a tie. Okay, so that person challenged opponent and won. And lost. Okay, what's going on in chat? A whole bunch of IL code that I can't read. You won't be able to format that very well here in the chat. So Fuel Snable, I would recommend if you do want to post what that is for people to check out, you post it over in our Discord, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, that is a chat application that's commonly used by gamers and Twitch streamers, and we use a Discord here. So we've got a couple hundred, like 200 to 300 people in our Discord, so if you're interested in chatting with other developers about stuff, that is a place to do it. We've got various chat rooms for different topics that you might be interested in discussing. So, Fuel Snable, I forget if you're in the Discord, but if you are, I would recommend you post it over there because you can format it nicely, and it's got rules for formatting C# code, etc., etc. So, it's nice. Boomster, yeah, we can probably keep track of the win-loss rate, although we're not going to do that right away. We'll add in the recording of that data in a minute. Right now, we're not even doing anything with this result. We're just going to say who won and who lost. But then what I want to do is, once we get this result back, so let's go take a look. So we run the contest. If we're ready, this goes back to this side. So this said existing duel apply. So we're going to come back here, and we're going to call this duel result. So I want to say if duel result duel is over, that should not be able to be null. So it's not ever going to be null. We're always giving back an object. So if duel is over, then what we're going to say is I guess in order to make sure that it was never null, I technically could make this thing a struct, couldn't I? That'd be a pain, so I'm not actually going to do it. Yeah. Okay, so duel is over. Then we want to ongoing duels, remove existing duel. So we're going to remove it if it's over. And then the next thing that we're going to do is if duel result dot message for user string dot not equals is null or white space. So if it's not null or white space, then what we're going to do is send out a message. So we are going to say chat client send a direct message to e.from display name duel result dot message for user, and then we're also going to do a very similar thing for message for chat. And let's go ahead and say send message. We don't need a from. And this is message for chat. So MFC. There we go. Okay, so that in theory works right now, assuming that everything goes well. Let's wire it together and see what happens. What happens is the bot is running and does not want to let go of things. So those errors are actually just that it can't copy the files because the existing bot is running right now and does not want to let go of them. Let's go ahead and clean that up. So as I mentioned, the bot that we're actually running here in the chat to do all this stuff is the bot we're developing right here. So if it's in chat, then it's running and it sometimes locks its DLLs. So that's all that was going on there. So the bot should be back in here. Someone want to challenge me to a duel? Don't be scared. Nobody wants to challenge me to a duel? There we go. Stool Penner, congratulations, you win. Let's go. Oh, the bot didn't even respond to it. I just noticed. Alright, hang on, let's try that again. Why didn't that work? Duel, Stool Penner. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, try it again. It should have messaged the chat. I want to look at that. There might be something not quite wired up right. It's weird because it doesn't connect. It's like it's almost there. Oh, no, not DevChatter bot. DevChatter. You dueled the wrong guy. Now let's hope it doesn't get confused. We might have just broken it because there's one piece I haven't put in yet. The problem is Stool Penner's going to cheat and watch what I type in. And the bot just showed back up again. That's weird. Hang on. Here's what I'm going to do. I think we crashed it. I think that's why it arrived again. Because you're not supposed to be able to be in more than one match. At least the way that I built it so far. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go add that in so we don't run into that problem again. First off, we're going to commit this change, and then we'll add that. What the? Weird. Let's see. This is adding... dual results. There we go. Now let's add that safety in that prevents us from being in more than one duel. So when it goes to add a duel, so we need to say hang on, before I do this, did we do this for either one? Start. That's accept. Request is for requesting a new duel. Okay. Yeah, alright. So here's what we're going to do. You cannot request a new duel. If you're in any existing duels. So we'll say, is challenging someone already is going to be our method. So is challenging someone already challenger. If is challenged by someone else already. Opponent. In these two cases, we will underscore chat client send message, and we'll say you're already challenging someone, and then we'll say challenger. This one down here, and we'll say sorry, opponent is in another duel already. So one duel at a time for now. You're already sorry. We're gonna phrase these the same way. Challenger. You are already in another duel. Okay. Let's write these two methods here. So is actually, we can just make this is in another duel. Is user in another duel. That's what we're going to name it. Is user in another duel, because it doesn't matter whether it was challenged or not. If they're in another duel, they're in another duel. So this will be user. So return underscore ongoing duels dot any x dot challenger equal what is it, equals user, say user display name will be what we use for that. If they're anywhere, the challenger is that, or opponent is the user display name. So if they're anywhere where this guy is in it, then we need to complain. Yep, that looks right. If they're the opponent or the challenger, doesn't matter, then they're already in another duel. Okay. Now, last thing before we continue on, that needs to return, and that needs to return also. So we don't start the duel anyway. That would be stupid. Okay. So there we go. That will do that. I guess alternately I could have done it like this, where we else if the thing. If you like it this way better, we could do it this way. And that would be fine also. So, either way, they both work. Okay. So, there we go. So we'll block that from happening. Oh, that doesn't need to return anymore. Okay, let's give this a shot. Duel stool penner. Choose your weapon. I lost. Oh, no, I won! Stool Pinner. Yeah, Stool Pinner challenged DevChatter and lost. There you go. You chose paper, right, Stool Pinner? I assume you chose paper? Alright, let's make that clearer. So let's do this. Let's say opponent wins. Challenger. Challenger lost, opponent wins. Challenger wins, opponent lost. There we go. Okay. In the duel, epic duel. These are epic duels. There we go. Okay, cool. I like it. How did it work? Get dueling basically working. Alright, let's try some other stuff here. Boomster DK. It actually shouldn't matter. You can do either one. So, in fact, it's technically more correct to not include the @ sign. However, what ends up happening is we have an extension method called no @ which I will show you guys, because you brought it up. So, over here in the duel command, you'll see we have no @ and that right there just checks to see trim, so source, trim start, @ It's literally all it does. Nice little thing. Works well. We like it. Okay. Draco, read your last message. When did you say something? You should try Unity 3D on the stream using C#. It's game engine. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Draco. I am well aware of Unity, and I do want to use it at some point on the stream. I think it would be a lot of fun. So I do want to do some streams like that. I just want to wrap up some of the stuff I'm doing. As you guys know, if I just go and start a new project all the time, we won't finish any of these. We won't get any to the point where, someone could actually use them. And one of the things that I really, really like about a lot of the code that we write here on the stream is that they're not all just like sample apps. Like, I mean, they're sample apps a lot of times. Like, they're designed to be able to, like, be built by a group of people on the internet pretty easily. However, they're supposed to also be real applications, like something someone could actually use for a purpose. So that's kind of the idea. Makes for much better examples that way, if they're real. Okay. I committed that, right? Whoops. We're not going to commit that change. Okay, just get my message. So dueling kind of works. So, for example, I can duel Draco, but then when I try to duel Boomster, it should yell at me. Whoops! It still worked, see? I wondered about that. Oh! There it goes. So, There's the problem. Turn false. Remove that. Remove the redundant else, and then this one is return true. Derp. Okay, so then we come back here, and then we do this. Duel started. If duel started. Go ahead, return that. What happens when this is called? Derp. This is this command. Whoa, I did not mean to drag that. Hey, Mr. Bubs TV, you changed your name. Welcome. Welcome to the stream, Bubs. Hey, and you're going to 18. Cool. Bubs, I got a thing I want to try with you. So welcome to the channel. I want to do a thing. We're gonna do a thing together because you're here. So glad you arrived. Oh yeah. Of course we call you Bubs. Oh yeah. This having a number in your name's not a good thing. I'm Hexian. I before band. No idea what you're talking about. I'm Hexian. But anyway, Bubs, I got a thing I want to do with you. Oh, dang it. Hang on. Let me get the button. Duel. Really? Hang on. I need to full. So we're developing this bot. So give me a second while I give it a full restart. This will take a second. But you are totally going to get challenged to a duel once this thing actually works. This is the problem with coding it live. If you bork anything while it's running, you actually have to restart things. So this is it trying to connect to Twitch right now, I believe. So the browser just gave up trying to connect to it there. There it goes. Okay. Little one's doing well, Bubs. He's almost 10 months old now. There we go. All right, Bubs, let's go. Let's do this. So you duel me back. Little Bubs is 6 months. Nice. She is getting old. All right, so you should now have a whisper there, Bubs, and you get to now choose rock, paper, or scissors. So hang on a second while I hide this from you, so you can't see which one I choose. So there we go. I have made my choice. So a fight has broken out. We got our duel going here. Waiting for Bubs to choose rock, paper, or scissors from his whisper. Hopefully he picks one. Hopefully he's able to send it. Yep, you just type in the whisper, Bubs. Rock, paper, or scissors. I don't even remember which one I chose now. So we'll find out if it works. Ah. Alright, so Bubs wins. There you go. I chose paper. So that's a bummer, but either way, the duel works, so that's cool. So that's the concept. We want to do something like that where we whisper the person to get what their choice is. We want to support more than just rock, paper, scissors. We want to support a bunch of different games so that we can kind of have that be like, oh yeah, you challenge and there's an actual game, so there's a decision. So unlike a lot of other dueling things where it's just, it makes a random choice and, you know, picks a winner, It's basically rolling dice. We're not going to do just that. I want to do multiple types of games because I think that's fun. So what is this? I fixed up that. Fix the don't send message saying a game started when it isn't. That's the bug we're fixing right there. So nice. Question, would it be possible to see what both duelers chose in the results announced in the chat? Absolutely it is. That is a very good suggestion. Thank you for that. Speaking of which, if anybody else ever has suggestions about any of the stuff we are building, feel free to chime in with that. In the epic duel, let's see, challengers, challenger choice, lost, wins with opponent choice. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to make this message a lot easier to do. I am going to do this. I want to say, I want to make these be the same thing. I want these to be built the same way. So instead of challenger, I want to say string winner equals challenger. So now instead of saying that, we're going to say winner. And instead of saying opponent, we're going to say, just replace this one for now, please. That's loser. Wait, I have this backwards. Lost. Winner. Did someone say in chat that I had it backwards? Yeah, okay, so in the epic duel, losers blank, lost, winners. Okay, so that means this is, we're just going to replace this one occurrence. This is going to be string, actually, and we're going to call this loser choice. So we're going to two-string that. And then winner choice is opponent choice, two strings. So now we're going to say winner choice down here. Okay, so now we're really just setting these values instead when we're in here. And this is the string that comes out. Is that more complicated or less? I can't tell. So I'm going to have the string repeat and not worry about it. I wondered if I could get away with that, but we're just going to do it this way. So in the epic duel, that one opponent loses with that. Challengers that one. Opponents that lost. Opponents that wins. Okay. I'm going to put a space actually before the apostrophe because I'm going to drop ats before their names just to ping them for attention there when they win and lose. So there we go. Ooh, Fuel Snibble. I like it. Yeah, we might yank that out. Let's give this a try first and see how it works. So okay, so bot in theory is here. I agree, Fuel Snable. They look really nice. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. You going down, Fuel Snable? Don't back away from the challenge. It's on the table, man. There we go. Now to hide my choice so you can't cheat. Hey, and Stool Penner challenges Bubs. There we go. We should be able to have multiple duels going on at the same time. Any given person's only allowed to be in one. Fuel Snable, did you manage to make your choice yet? I'm just wondering, because I want to make sure it's not, the bot messing up. Oh, Fuel Snable. It says choose your weapon. Yeah, just, let me, I'll clarify that for you. Just type in the text of what you want. So you could reply with, rock, paper, or scissors. And that exact text oughta work. So just reply to the whisper with it. Choose your weapon by replying to this with rock, paper, or scissors. There we go. I'll clarify a little bit. Oh, you didn't get the whisper. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you didn't get the whisper, that would be the problem. Because I got a whisper about it, so you should get a whisper. If you don't get a whisper, then... and yes, that is the plan, Stool Penner. After a little while, if the challenge has not been completed, then we are going to end the challenge, and suddenly you'll be freed up to be able to challenge someone else. So, what we will do is this. First off, we're gonna clarify... did anyone finish one? Retro Bear, you might be right. It could be that it's getting blocked because they might have their settings so that a random person can't just whisper them. Okay, anyway. Display choices of duelists. Down here, we are going to say... clarify whisper instructions. And I think that's a good idea because Bubs did get the whisper and asked about what he should do. Oh, it was a tie. Okay, yeah. So we the tie we didn't display the results in. That's a good point. We could display the results in a tie also. So both picked. There we go. So we'll say what you guys picked. So we'll have the choice in there. Display tied choice. It's a tied ad. No problem, Bubs. We got a lot of people that are at work while they're on the stream, so sorry about mentioning your name. Oh, okay. Well, Fuel Snable, you should be able to reply to... You should be able to whisper directly to the bot with your choice. Even if that's the case. So, you just wouldn't have received its whisper to begin with. So, okay. So we got that nice, nicely set up. Couple of things we need to do. So, Retro Bear, my plan is to have the duel end after 30 seconds or so. Maybe 60 seconds. They have a minute to accept the duel. So let's do this. Property, date time. We're gonna say time duel started. Actually, why don't we do this? Dual expiration date. Expiration time? We'll say dual expiration time equals date time UTC now dot add. We have a system clock that I should take in. No, we're just going to do this. For now. Dual expiration time. There we go. How do we make sure this one expires? Yeah, Retrobear, because then I don't need a command to shut it off. We can just end it whenever we need to. Dual requested is better. Stoolpenner, what do you mean, Stoolpenner? Dual requested is better? You're talking about like the time it was requested instead of an expiration? I'm always open to ideas on things, so if people have suggestions for how I can improve the code, just let me know. And we will fix it. We will make it better. We will make it stronger. We have the technology. Or something. Okay, so we need the automated... We need the automation system in here. Is it an eye automation system? Alright, so we're gonna do this. Whoop, no, 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 no. Bring that in there. Okay, when this comes in... we need a repeating action on it. We need nothing else. We don't actually need to save it for anything yet. We just need to use the one that exists. So we're going to say dot add action. And the action we're going to create is a repeating check, maybe? Dual expiration action. I think is what we want. What are the children of this? There's one-time callback and currency update, which is not the ones I want, actually. Hang on. What's this take? Interval action. Derp. I'm like, that's why it doesn't have this. Like, this thing needs to have, like, that on it. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I'm like, this doesn't have the method, like, it didn't have the interface I was expecting. You started with dual started, and I thought that requested would be better. Then you changed it to date, which is... yeah. Okay, sounds good, Stoolpenner. Yeah, so your adjustment was to my original name. It's always hard to get to a good name. So is done equals... Now I know that that's redundant because that was going to be the default value anyway to say is false here, to set that equal to false, but that's okay because we're never going to have this end, I don't think. Yeah. I agree, Stool Planner. Naming is it's. This is time to run. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Prop date time. Next run time. Oops, next run Tim? Next run Tim equals date time UTC now. Let's see, let's have this run every 5 seconds. 10 seconds? 5 seconds. We'll have it run every 5 seconds. So we're gonna say no, we're gonna do it like this. So we're gonna set next runtime equal to that. And it's time to run if date time UTC now is greater than next runtime. So if it's past that, then it's time to run, and then we will invoke it, setting that value. Okay. So I wrote this as dual expiration action, but I don't like that name. Next runs Tim. Yeah, exactly. So let's rename this. Let's make this more generic. This can be way more generic than this. So repeating callback action. So we'll do a repeating callback action. It needs a constructor. In this, we are going to set a couple of things. First off, we're going to set the action that it calls. So action callback so we are going to try the callback and no matter what we're going to set that value. So we're going to swallow the exception and continue on. The other thing we need to set is the delay time. So we'll make this a field. What? Is that in here twice? Yeah, replace two occurrences. Callback interval. We want to set it from the constructor. And we want this to actually have a default value. So we're going to set it equal to 5 seconds. It's let's call it interval in seconds. Let's be clear, so everybody knows what that is. That is an interval in seconds when they're setting it. So that'll be a read-only value that'll come in. Oh, we can't set it that way then. Okay. That's true, we can't. So that means we do it like that. That's fine, no biggie. Fixed. Okay. What's going on in chat? Dueling. Do you have any way of pausing, stopping it built in? Not sure if you have a use case for doing that, seeing it halfway through with history. Yeah, Rising Phoenix. I'm not sure if we'd need to at some point, but there potentially could be. I haven't wired it in yet. I'm making this like a sort of general one, so we might need to add it in at some point. We'll figure that out. What I can do is, if I set it up, if I want to turn it off, what I could do is I could make there be a way for it to set itself to being done. It would get removed from the automation system, and then we could add it back in afterwards. So if we found out later we needed to do that, we could adjust how it works. So, don't know. We'll think about it. You are correct, Stoolpenner. You're right. I should do it this way. I should be consistent on that. And the difference... So, the code is going to call the same way regardless of how you do it. And the reason why I didn't hear it first is because there's an underscore in the beginning of it. So it's pretty obvious to anybody looking at this that this is a field, like, variable. But doing the .invoke makes it clear to anybody looking at the code that what is happening is I have a variable that contains, you know, a function in it, and I'm calling that. Whereas if this just said, like, callback or something like that, someone might not realize that, oh, he's calling a variable. That's like they might think this is a declared method in that file, which it is not. And so that's why you'll see me often call it this way. And this is how I want to write it here. So that's the idea. I like when someone looks at my code for them to have some additional understanding based on the context of how I did things. So thank you for pointing that out. That is a good catch. So we could do something later on, like adding like a number of times to be called, and we could flip this bit when once it's been called the correct number of times, or something like that. But either way, repeating callback action, I think it gets the point across of what that is. The file name is right, so let's move this to where it goes, which is over here. So we're going to put it there. We're going to rename... I'm going to change its namespace over to that. And now over here, we're going to have a repeating callback action that we're going to create. And it needs its method here. What the? I think I got a little confused there. There we go. Let's see. Also not seen how the automation system is set up. Thoughts on using async await and task delay, and whether that would be appropriate for how it's set up. Rising Phoenix, I forget. That might actually be how it's set up. So the reason why I have it hidden away in that iAutomation system is so I don't have to think about it. So I don't have to care how the automation's implemented, and I can decide later how I want to implement it. But I do believe that it is wired up with an async await. At least we had it that way at one point. So we are a while loop with an async and an await task delay on it. So yeah, something kind of like that. So we're awaiting a task delay. So similar to what you were talking about, Rising Phoenix. I don't know if that's exactly what you were wondering, but that is how it works there. Okay, what is our callback action that we actually want to do? Check for expired duels. That's our callback action. Create a method, check for expired duels. Ooh, can it be private? I don't remember if it can be. Exactly, Rising Phoenix, yep. So I wanted to have, like, you know, if at any point in the system you need something to just be automated in the background, I don't want you to think about how it's implemented, because that also means that if we don't end up with, like, half of our code is using that async and await approach, and half of the code is using, you know, like some other loop that it spins off in a task or something. You know, like, we don't have separate ones, it's all together. So that's the idea. So check for expired duels, we will say ongoing duels. Remove all x dots x dot is running equals false, And, oh, actually, you know, we're just going to set the expiration time. Who am I kidding? I should grab them and then expire them so I can mention that we removed them. Does it give us back the values? What's that return? That is just the number of duels that were removed. Let's do this instead then. So we're going to say ongoing duels dot where duel dot is let's see, what? It's not is expired? Oh, because we just did the time. Derp. Alright, I'm fixing that. Going back to the duel. It's gonna have this time. Everybody doesn't need to know that. We're gonna make a little helper for is expired. Public bool is expired. So we're gonna say return expiration, what? Duel.expiration time is UTC now is greater than dual expiration time. So if the current time is greater than the expiration time, then it's expired. Yes, good. And actually I'm going to write this as an expression-bodied member. So it's going to look like that. So we're just going to wire that into there because that makes it so much nicer over here when we can just say duel.isExpired. So grab all the expired duels. I'm going to to-list them because it's really not that many, so I don't mind putting it into a list instead of leaving the enumerable. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say ongoing duels.remove all. Can I not just remove them? Okay, so we're gonna have to remove each one that way. So I'm gonna do this for each expired duel. We're gonna say ongoing duels.remove expired duel, and we will say chat client send message. Get expiration message. Remove it, do that, there we go. Okay. What the? Yes, of course put the method on there. Oh, whoops. That was, what the crap? That was dumb. Duel. Expired duel, there we go. No, we got it. I'm like, why is it freaking out here? That's not, doesn't make any sense. Okay, so now we want to say return a match between, whoops, need my $sign at the beginning, otherwise I don't get IntelliSense on my string interpolation here. So if you don't know how that works, I actually can do this and I get IntelliSense in here. The match between challenger and opponent won't happen. match between that and that won't happen. Someone was slow. Alright, we'll figure out who later. For now, that's a reasonable enough message, so that we can just know that an expiration happened. Let's see if we can't get the bot started up again. The bot obviously is running, but I'm going to try running it again. Let's cross our fingers that our current... nope, our current bot's holding too many things. Says the bot arrived. That it is starting, but the problem is all these errors that we're seeing in here. Those are the bot not wanting to let go of any of its stuff here. Derp. I did not add that intentionally, at least. There we go. It's correct. I do need to get these. I did not update these tests before we tried to run it. That's my bad. That's my bad. Thanks, Janisku. Okay, let's see what happens. Janisku, do not accept my challenge. I want to see if it can expire. Oh, actually, I should mention this stuff. If anybody's in here and has not yet joined our Discord, you should actually take a look at it. Our Discord is actually a chat application. So Discord is a chat application. It's commonly used by gamers and streamers and things like that. And our Discord actually has a good number of developers in it. We've got like nearing 300 developers in our Discord that are, you know, people that are interested in code also. So if you want to chat with me or any of them, that is a place to do it. If you've been watching the stream and enjoying it at all, make sure you hit the follow button so you get notified when we go live. And also, if you're interested in taking a look at any of our code, you can run it over on GitHub. Take a look at what we've got there. Maybe you want to contribute. Everything we've got here is open source. And we do take pull requests, contribution, things like that. You may have noticed that my name is not the only one in this project. That is because some of the code that we get comes from... Oh, hey, cool! The match between DevChatter and Janisku won't happen. Someone was slow. So there we go. Someone. Now the question is this. Yes, I can start another duel, which means the existing one wasn't there. For example, if I try to do it now, it says, hey, you're already in a duel. So that means it really had expired that duel and got it out of the way. Also, if anybody is wanting to see some of our old videos, so as Rising Phoenix mentioned, not having seen some of the beginning stuff, how we built some things, we do have archives of all the videos that we've done here on DevChatter, so if you're interested in taking a look at some of those, they are over on YouTube. You can find some other stuff here as well. Feel free to join the duel there, Janisku. You don't have to. I understand if you're scared. So we added duel expiration, right? Adding duel expiration. Gotta get full names there, Janisku. That's actually hard for me to respond on there, Stool Penner. Whoops. Nah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get onto his account fast enough to be able to accept that duel. Sorry, Stoolpenner, you're going to win. Yep. Only one person can duel him at a time. Alright, so dueling seems to work. I am happy about that. That functions reasonably well. It's not ideal. We've still got some tweaks we need to make. And I'd like to get it so that we can do more than just rock, paper, scissors. But I think it works for now. So let's close that. We don't need that opened. And I like the fact that it works through those whispers, so that your choice can be secret. So you can make a secret selection against your opponent. What is that? Number 5? Oh, yeah, because that's the default value. Cool. Remove unnecessary value. Vacu? Value. So I haven't followed closely, but since the bot keeps track of duelists and multiple duels, can I run it out of memory? Fuel stable, no! Because it will not allow you to be in more than one duel. So unless you wanted to make like 1 million accounts and have them all start duels, at which point I think we have a different problem. Okay, cool. Also, yay, it worked! It worked! Yes! So, awesome. We have a working bot. It does duels. Eye automation system. Derp. Thanks, Stoolpenner, for the derp. The meta challenge of crashing the bot is accepted. Yeah. Herp derp. Divcha derp. Herpida derp. Retro Bear, you win! Retro Bear! Good luck accepting that one, Retro Bear. Can you accept it now? Retro Bear, can you accept it? Try it. Thanks, Crimson Green. Nice. Well, at least it can expire now, Retro Bear. At least it can expire. That's good. That's good. I like it. I like it. Oh, man. So this one just plays rock, paper, scissors. How are we doing on time? We have that. It's that time. What were the other things? There were a couple of other things I wanted to work on this stream. Now let's make this pull request first. Dueling game. It may not be ready. We may still need to send some more commits here, but I like to create the pull request anyway, because we can see what's in it then. Also, the branch is out of date. Way to go, me. Derp, herpida derp, herpida derp. Let's do this. Yeah. What's that, everybody? I don't see anything. Get pull. Get check out. What is it, Burnrick? Okay, get master. I didn't see anything. What happened? Nothing. Clearly, I didn't see a thing. What do you mean? There's no console window doing anything over there. Hang on while I refresh this. What? Yeah, there's nothing weird going on. Totally hidden. No one saw a thing. Nothing to see here. Brendan totally didn't force push that. No, he'd never do something like that. Actually, I'm okay with doing that, and I'll explain why. So I have a policy that I use in Git, and essentially what it is, you'll see it in my naming conventions. So, now I spelled my name wrong here, because, you know, typing is a difficult thing in programming, but essentially anytime I use my name at the beginning of it, I am treating that as this is code that is basically on my computer, and the only reason it's out on GitHub is to keep it safe. It's not intended for multiple people to be working on this branch. It should just be mine. And so that's why I'm not worried about force pushing it up there, is because it's just my changes. So I consider it the same thing as being on my computer. Now, if I were to name it with a name that didn't have that, so for example, we have a branch called MUD, M-U-D. This branch, however, does not start with benric/. And so this one I treat as a collaborative branch, so I don't force push to this one, because I consider this to be a branch that more than one developer works on. So ThinkBot Labs, even though I'm the only person that's on here, I still use, I'm the only person that's actually committing to this repository. Everybody else has to pull request in through a branch. However, I still follow that convention, so I'll have them named, and I treat them as that's just a working branch that I'm in, and then when I merge it somewhere else, I do a named branch. So even though this MUD branch, you know, I'm the one that's merging into it from my own branches each time, I still treat it differently. So I do not treat those the same, even though I'm the only developer that's actually committing to this repository. Everybody else's changes come in through their forks. So I like to do that so that I don't make any stupid mistakes and break stuff, ThinkBot Labs. It keeps me honest. So I don't mess anything up, I don't break stuff as long as I follow nice policies that I think are good ones. So that's the idea. Okay, and back to the coding. So, while this builds. So this pull request right here, we will eventually get that merged in, and we'll see what happens with it. Okay, so nice. See, people using the dueling game. Okay, there were some bugs that we wanted to work on. Okay, in the epic duel, Stool Penner's paper lost. Retrobear's scissors, wins one. Why? Wow, I butchered that. Hang on, let me fix that name. Duel. In the epic duel, challengers, that lost. This won. One lost. There we go. Thank you for catching that. I messed up the the tense there. So we will fix message. Fix dual result message. There we go. If stupid mistake, can't you just delete and re-pull? No, yeah. So ThinkBot Labs, no, if I mess something up, I could. I totally can. In fact, I do that. I recommend that to people all the time. That what you should do is delete and re-pull if you mess something up, because 90% of the things you're going to screw up can be fixed that way, and it's a lot easier than go figuring out how to actually untangle your Git. So I do know a lot of the ways that you can actually untangle things when you need to, but usually what I recommend to people is, if you can, don't spend 2 hours trying to untangle your Git to save yourself the 10 minutes of work that you lost. So that's the idea. Rising Phoenix, take care. I'll see you later. Oh, yeah, exactly, Stoolpenner. Good job intentionally losing in that so that we could see that the message was wrong and fix it. I really appreciate that. Way to take one for the team. Oh, and ThinkBot Labs, I should clarify, what I was talking about is the idea of force pushing up a change because I did a rebase after having pushed my code out to the server. So that's what all that was. Okay, so dual expiration time is that. So here's what I want to do. I want to say... when does it start? I don't want to remove it right away if the players are ready. Start. Ah, okay. That's where it is. To statement body. There we go. So what I wanted to do here, this is what I was adjusting. I want to make it so that we reset this time. So I'm going to make this a little method, and we're going to say extract method reset, or just set expiration. So we're just going to say set expiration. Did this thing have a constructor? Can't do that because it's not static. Empty constructor, setting the expiration. Private set expiration. Okay. So now the idea is once the opponent is challenged, so you challenge the opponent. The opponent has a minute to respond. Then it's going to send out a whisper. You then have a minute to respond to that. So that's how we've got it set up today. One sec. Okay, welcome back. It doesn't know your location, Stoolpenner, sorry. It didn't find it in its search. There you go. So I think the thing that'll challenge is that if I thought we took the first choice when we're doing the schedule, so if anyone wants to see the schedule command, you can just search and it'll try to find it. I'm now going to do the funniest thing you guys have ever seen. I'm going to drink my beverage out of a mug. That's delicious. And you guys can pretend it's tea or coffee or whatever in here, and this can is completely hidden, so you'll never know that I just shoved a can into my mug. That's right, our DevChatter mugs are can-sized. I have no idea, Stoolpenner. That's kind of weird that it's not finding that place. Let's try schedule. Where do we want the schedule for? Seattle? There's our schedule for Seattle. Just in case anybody's on the west coast of the United States, that's what our schedule is here on the channel. And if you want to know what our schedule is in your time zone, feel free to run the schedule command and find out. That build, ooh, build's failing on that one. Let's find out why. Let's find out why correctly. There we go. Test failing? Yep. It's these ones, the ones we just changed. Null ref, I'm so surprised by this. I'm not surprised by this at all. Debug. Let's see where that null ref actually happens. Should be easy enough to fix once we see where it is. Null ref. Chat clients. Whisper received. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It would bomb there. Because I didn't pass in a chat client. So... Chat client? Chat client? Nope. Okay, so this is going to be a new mock of iChat client. Dot object. So we're just going to insert in the mock. When we put that in there, I was like, I wonder how long that's going to last. And there's my answer. That's how long that's going to last. Funny how the left window is somewhat smaller in font size and the right window is bigger than the editor. Oh, is it? That's weird. I don't know. We messed with fonts a bunch in the beginning of the stream. What is this? Fix busted tests. Alright, next one. This is send expiration, dual expiration time. So this is reset expiration when duel starts. And we'll push those up, and those will begin building now also. So one nice thing, I'm not planning on ending the stream here soon, because we still have some time for coding today. But I did... Oh, whoops, bot's not running. I did notice that our guest from last Thursday, Kevin, is streaming, so I will probably host and or raid him after the stream. So, yep, we've been going for that amount of time, and then duel Stoolpenner. Type that to accept. Okay, so that worked reasonably well. A fight breaks out. Hang on. Someone just attacked me. I have been attacked by Stoolpenner. Give me a second. Oh, so we tied. We both picked paper. There we go. Okay, so Retro Bear wants to challenge me, so duel Retro Bear. Retro Bear 78, you're going down. You're going down. You're gonna lose. You stand no chance. Maybe. So, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's over there in the chat over there. You'll see the duel potentially going on over there. And, maybe it's not going to go on over there. Not if Retro Bear doesn't accept. So, bummer. Hey, there we go. Okay, I've got my selection in. What is this? All the ties. Ah. We failed, everybody. We failed. We keep having ties. So, there you go. Everybody's picking the same things. It's time to throw tables around. Alright, cool. Herpaderp. Herpaderp. Herpanaderp. Okay. Let's see. So we got that going. What other changes do people have? Suggestions to make for our duels? Other things that we could adjust in this? Any ideas? Suggestions? Keep track of the data. Sounds good, ThinkBot Labs. Stool Pinner. Yeah, we could find a way to do a sword fight. Let's record the data first. Let's start recording them now, because we can start getting these before we add in another game type. So, yeah, Kramzer 101, stats and levels and things. Let's start adding in some data. We'll start storing it first, and then we can figure out what we want to do with it. So, first things first. Let's add in our dueling module. I'm going to put the data here. So, let's say model. So, model, we're going to have class oh, what is this going to be? Do we want to record every single duel, or do we want to keep the stats per person? Duel something entry. It's the duel log entry, data entry. Do we do it by person then? So string, string, yeah, we can do string. What's it gonna be? User ID, string, user, display name. Which maybe I shouldn't even include display name, but I'm going to anyway. Dual type. It'll be win, loss, tie for now. Not sure what to call that. We're gonna have to think about this. There's definitely some ideas here. Oh, right. I said entry, and I should do entity, dual data entity. That's fine. So, let's go with a prop date time. When? Date of duel. Date. Date dueled. Okay, so this is who you are. We need your opponent too. Opponent ID. Opponent ID and opponent name. And welcome, Cramser 101. Thank you for following. Much appreciated. So if these are what we're logging, now here's the question. Do we log one for both people? So if a duel happens, do we record just both parties? Alternately, because we could structure it like this instead. So duel played. Let's do it this way. Duel type and the date. Because we could also structure it this way. Whoops. Brain wasn't working there for a second. We'll call this one dual played, dual player record, data entity, and on this one we will do property. We'll pull all those values. Actually, let me go ahead and do this. I'm not sure if I pulled those onto my clipboard or not. So using win-loss tie. Alternately, I could just do, I could treat them as bits or something like that. But we'll leave it as win-loss tie for now. We need a better type on that, but I want to think about the structure first before we even put it in the database. So we're not putting this in the database yet. We just need to figure out how it's going to work. So these need to be associated with one of those. So this is going to be a duel played. That I'm actually just going to call the duel. That's going to have a type and a date. And this is going to be a record. That way we can have multiple people in a duel. So it might be possible for us to have... So we call it a duel, but we could make it so that more than one person could be in it. So even though I called it duel someone, maybe it should be challenge. Wheatlaw, hey, welcome. It's not evening here yet, but my afternoon's been good. How's your evening been? So we're going to change the name of the file. So actually we'll move that one and then change that one to this one's file name, and that's fine. There we go. Glad to hear it, Wheatlow. Okay, so we now have this set up. This is going to create a foreign key relationship for us. It's going to automatically wire this up, so we're going to have a many-to-one relationship where we have many player records for each duel played. There's data the event is on the duel played, not on the record itself, because we can always grab that data when we pull it out of the database. So I think that structure will work. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to do. So the couple of things we need to figure out: we need a better way of recording who won, lost, and tied. Alright, well, let's see what we can do about this then. I am going to branch this because we don't need this to be merged in order for this to go in. Actually, before I do that, let me see. Can this merge yet? That can merge. We're going to let the dueling game come in. Congratulations, dueling game. You're going to make it into the branch. So, before we do that, let's jump over to the master branch. Fetch those changes, pull those in. We're going to make a new branch called Storing Duel Data. And in this one, we're going to say Setting Up Basic Duel Data Model. So we have our basic data model here. We kind of have an idea of what we want to store. Let's take a look at some of the other pieces we're going to need in order to make this work. So that's our model. In here, we're going to need a folder for policies. So I'm going to make a class that we're going to call duel played policy. This is going to be a base data policy. A data item policy of type duel played. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. So this is actually what's going to allow us to get our data out of our database. So we use a set of policies here. For anyone who hasn't seen this, we use this instead of using like sets of repositories that you might see in a lot of other code. This lets us be a lot more flexible than those, and we write code in this policy instead of creating a whole bunch of repositories. The nice thing about this is this method does not know anything about our actual data storage. This doesn't know about how that it's in a database. It doesn't know what type of database. And Omega, yes, it is, bool is short for Boolean. So it's going to be a true-false type when we have these. Basically all this is, if you ignore the expression part that's out there, you'll see that this is a function that accepts that is going to return back a Boolean value based on a duel played object. So that's how we're going to determine whether or not this is the object we want. So these are basically like filters for this type. Is probably the best way of explaining this. So here's what we're going to do. We could do a public static policy and say by what do we want to check on this? By player? Yeesh. By player. Let's say by user ID. Public static by user ID. Okay, return new one of those, and now it needs an expression. So what we write for this is this: x dot Ooh, this doesn't have the list. Okay, I didn't finish my model. There's something else I need to add to it. This needs to have a property on it because we need bidirectional data on this. So the foreign key's there, but we need to make sure that Entity Framework or whatever ORM we eventually use, which it's going to be Entity Framework because that's what's in our project, can map these and hydrate the values here. So we want to tell it, get us a list of dual play records. Player records. That's what we're going to call it. And I think it will figure out what that is and wire it up without me having to do anything special. So player records contains so this is PR. Oh, that's looking for a specific one. Whoops. Derp. Any br dot user ID equals user ID. There we go. So we're basically looking to see if any of these records in this have the one we want. No, because it's got to be an expression. Never mind. That's as nice as that's going to get. So we're looking for any player records where that, and that's what we're going to return. In order to do this, though, we have to do one extra thing. Sorry, everybody. Just trying to get my highlighting here. There we go. So this is going to be our policy. And our policy dot include add includes. We need to include some extra data in this. So you'll notice that I accessed my player records, which is another object. So it was going to have to reference another table in the database. In order to get it to do that, I need to tell it, hey, include that table. Which actually, now that I think about it, I probably want to do that every time. So we're going to put that up here. So inside the constructor of this type, so this is our policy. In its constructor, we're going to say, hey, every one of you, every time someone tries to filter on this data set, you should include your player records as well. Which maybe we won't want to do that. Okay, so Omega Tau, we are adding in records for our dueling. So we just created a dueling game, and it lets you play rock, paper, scissors using whispers against an opponent in our chat room. We want to record the results of that so that we can, have stats and have like, a dueling champion kind of thing. We're going to have more types than that. Well, yes, I could do a by user instead of by user ID and take in an actual chat user object instead of just the string. So I could do by user and accept chat user, chat user, like this, and I could just say chat user dot user ID, and that works just fine. So I can do that as well. Also, what's the expression? So Wheatlol, I am passing a function. However, it happens that my function is an expression. So it is actually significant because that is a limit on what that can actually be. And the reason it is required is actually because of Entity Framework. So in order to use this filter with Entity Framework, it has to actually be a function. It has to be an expression, not just a function. So that's actually why we have to have this here. So for our own purposes, for, say, filtering on a collection, if we were to filter on an in-memory collection, we can use this same policy for that. If we were doing that, we don't need it to be an expression. And this is extra. This is just an extra layer So I'll show you where it's used. So we pass in spec.criteria right here, and that is an expression. And so if you look at what's actually required by the iQueryable singular default, you'll see that it requires a system link expression of func of t of bool of predicate. So it's a little complicated, but it's basically just a wrapper around our func. So using it isn't difficult. It just has that complicated piece. Oh, Malachi, if you know what the project is that you, if you know what the project is that you want to do, then, and your challenge is starting a project in that you just need to get going on it, that's a good question. If it's more that you want to do a project but you don't know what project, that's another question entirely. So... and WeLol's correct. If anyone's interested in joining our Discord, that is actually a great place to ask questions and things like that, which you can talk to people even while I'm not on the stream. So it's another spot that's good for that. An expression retains the structure of the C# code that is used to build the expression. This can then be serialized to SQL. Yes, exactly, FuelSnable. So what that means is if you want to apply this to memory, you actually have to compile it, because it is treating it still as the code. So for example, as FuelSnable is mentioning, the spec.criteria actually has a compile on here. Weird, huh? So, yep, because, so what FuelSnable's talking about is, essentially what Entity Framework's going to do, it's going to take your C# code and turn it into SQL code so that it can run it in SQL. So it needs it to be an expression so it can figure that out. Well said, FuelSnable. It's a side project, so I don't have time. So you don't have time limit pressure. Yeah, Malachi, I know exactly what you mean on those kinds of things. I know some people set themselves arbitrary deadlines to get stuff done. One recommendation I would make is put some time on your schedule, put it on your calendar, that you're going to work on the project for like an hour on, you know, Tuesdays or something like that. Just pick a day, and it's a good way to get things done. If you just schedule in some time for it, makes it more likely you'll actually do it. Anyway, so we're doing a public static dual played policy by user. You pass in the chat user, it gets you back your policy that you can use to do the filtering of the records. So I think that works reasonably well. Our dual type right now, I think I'm gonna leave it off. I think we can add it later, and we'll... no, we're gonna do this, and for now I'm just gonna hard code it to... rock, paper, scissors? No, we'll set this value to rock, paper, scissors when we create this. We'll set it. Date dueled. Okay. I just want to review our models before I create this. User ID is definitely a string. User display name is definitely a string. Win, loss, tie. I'm really debating on this, what we want to do with this. Wait, I can't use contains? What do you mean? Anywhere that equals that. You can't use contains? What are you talking about? I'm not using contains here. Yeah, any's not contains. So return back if there are any that equal that. I think I can figure this out. We'll find out. We'll find out if it works, Weetlol. Don't worry, we'll find out if it works. Because we are going to do this eventually. We're going to run this code. Okay, Draco, yes, this is open source. It is out on GitHub. So if you are interested in contributing to the project, that's where it is. Okay, so let's take a look at what this change is according to Entity Framework. Yeah, exactly, Wheatlaw. You can't use contains chat user kind of thing on a collection. Yeah, like that. Let's do add... Was it add migration, test, project, collapse these, grab the project name, copy that, paste it. So we're going to add this. Derp. Okay, it's having trouble building it because the bot's running. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that, like shut down the thing. We're going to do a build. Let's make sure it didn't make any files. It did not. Now we're going to go back to the package manager console and build again. See, it says build failed. Probably right behind my head or something. Yep, it's right there. So should have created the migration. It doesn't see anything that's good. It shouldn't. So we don't have anything sitting, so I'm going to cancel these. Discard those. Whoa, discard those. Oh, add a collection of player records to duel played. There we go. Hang on. Sudo shut down the thing. Yeah, exactly. Creating expression trees in those days were so slow. There's so much cool stuff you can do with expressions. They're quick to create, and I think they're pretty okay these days. Yeah, doing Scala is definitely a different world that you're living in than Fuel Stable. That's one of the that's among the languages that a lot of other languages are trying to pull stuff from. Sorry, Stoolpenner, we're not running right now, but I will go ahead and get it started. There you go. The bot should be running. Hello, bot. Welcome. Alright, so our app data context. We need to store a new DB set. DB set of type duel played duels played. Okay. Shouldn't have to do anything special with these. Is it gonna build or did it already grab hold of everything? We're gonna try it. Let's find out. Alright. Click on the buttons. Is Lua an easy language to learn? Draco, I actually don't know. I have not tried Lua. I looked at it a long time ago. I doubt it's a difficult language, though. Because from the things that I know that it's used for, it should be a pretty easy language to use. Okay, so what do we have here? Drop the tables. Create an index on duel ID. In the player record, that makes sense. We're going to want that because we're going to need to be able to look that one up easily. It created a primary key that is a GUID on the foreign key from the dual player record to the dual ID, which is why we needed the index. Here it created this as a non-nullable ID. Don't get why it's allowing those to be null. I really should restrict those. But, meh, I don't care enough on that. Nullable dual type string date time. It has a primary key also. All right, let's see. Malachi, Lua is simple and easy. Okay. How do you handle schema upgrades? There's a private schema is always back with the panel. Did you work with the C# reinforcement learning module already? Nerd Rage. I have not worked with that. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to read through chat, make sure there's nothing going on that I needed to chat about. Which I didn't see anything that definitely needs my attention, so I'm going to discard these changes, and we are going to apply them again with a better name. So, it will no longer be called test. Now we are going to add dual record tables. Click. Alright. There we go. Looks good. So this is adding duels played tables, update database, bonk. Alright, database updates applied. We should be good now. And if anyone's wondering, we have, so a few things. First off, if you're interested in chatting with us after the stream, take a look at our Discord. It's a chat application that's commonly used by gamers and Twitch streamers. You'll find a lot of the other viewers over there, and we chat about programming stuff on a regular basis. Also, if you're interested in checking out any of the source code in this project, it is all out on GitHub at github.com/devchatter. Okay, so, let's go to our duels that we just created recently. Do we want to create them here or up there? These return back, we say who won and lost, so the duel result should be what matters. That comes up here. That's a result. This should have gotten the result also. What was on this duel result? What did we pass back? Duel result dot. We did not put in things like the winner or loser. We're going to have to add those now. So, what we will do is this. Is everything committed? I committed everything, right? Yeah, everything's committed. Prop. Chat user. Winner. Prop chat user. Loser. Whoops, actually, we don't want to do that. We want to say we have access to the duels. We already have them. Let's figure it out on the other side. What do we want to have over here? So, duel is over, remove it. So, record game. Record duel record. This is existing duel, and the duel result are what we want to pass in. That should be all the information we require, because the duel should have who they are. Wait, what? Hang on. Wheatlol. Duel result. Duel's over. Duel is over. No, no. We need to fix our naming. Good point, Wheatlall. We need to fix that naming. Anyway. So, we need the repository. Use the to-do. Get a repo and store this stuff. Alright, here we go. Let's make 2 results. So we need to have dual player record. Let's see. Dual played equals new dual played. Date dual, date time, etc now. Dual type equals rock, paper, scissors, we'll say. And player records equals new list of player records. Alright. Hey, Jen's Duck. Welcome. Oh, that's funny. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. Wait, this doesn't work because I have to reference the other one. I think only one of them needs to reference the other one, so I think if it's in this, I don't have to reference the duel. Oh, Jen's Duck. If you're there, do you have a your war game? Um, is it just like war like cards? Like, you know, draw a card out of the deck, 52 cards? I have done card game programs in the past. They're kind of fun. User display name. What do we want to... So, user display name, we have... so there's rock, paper, scissors. User display name is... gonna be coming from... It's gonna come from the duel. So we're going to grab the challenger, put him in there, the opponent, put him in there. I don't have the IDs, so we're going to actually have to get the actual like user on that instead of just using these values. Inside the duel result, I'm going to say... Challenger 1. Opponent 1. Code Kitten, welcome. Thanks for following. Alright, so now when we call this, the result should have that, should be able to have that data. We'll actually make it have that. Maybe, Wheatlall? Maybe? Maybe we should put the player records on here? In the duel result? Oh, sorry, this is a dual player record. It's a good point, Wheatlall. It's a good point. Oh yeah, well, I would just have chat user winner and chat user loser. Oh yeah, we could... Yeah, we just gotta get to the point where we actually store the chat user then. Because we don't actually have that yet, is the problem. Chat user... Whoops. Well, the challenge there is I guess we won't have either one of them then? So I guess it would be neither if there was no winner or loser. If it's a tie, we just don't set them. Yeah, we could definitely go that route. So... Player 1, player 2, result 1-1, 2-1, tie. Yeah, the tie option's the challenge. Let's see. So this is So we need to convert this to a string. This needs to accept some parameters. I'm going to create a little helper method. Except I'm going to actually make it a local function instead of a method, actually. So get win-loss tie, and it is going to be for a chat user. This would be challenger. Except we don't have the chat user right now, it's a string, which we will have to adjust. So the problem is our duel right now, we set it up with string for challenger and string for opponent, but we do need to actually have a full-on chat user for this. So we will store the chat user now, which is going to break a couple of things because we can't do our comparisons now. So this is going to be challenger.displayName. Not the worst thing to change. And this also is going to be challenger.displayName. Opponent.displayName. There we go. A couple more of these need to get fixed. So that is displayname. This, we now have the username, so the user ID, I should say. And this one we'll need to do for the opponent instead of the challenger. Nice, Wheatlaw. Alright, so now we have that. Let's go finish the last couple of places. There should still be some other spots where this is complaining. Too many places where we did this. Ooh, there's gonna be a problem. I just noticed here. Might be fine. Chat user. Chat user. Did I ever wire up equality on this thing? I did not. Implement high quality interface, etc. The problem is I want it to be an or in case we only got one. So the challenge we run into, Wheatlol, is that you have selected your opponent based on that. Well, okay, we'll have to assume that you got it, that we found it in the database and we're using it. So this is all the equality stuff that it adds in for us. I'm going to put this down below and hide it in a region. Because nobody wants to see that garbage. Send direct messages, challenge dot display name. So that does need to be sent to them based on their name. Request a duel from that opponent. Request a duel. Your chat user. Your opponent needs to come from somewhere else now. Where did I use the chat user collection? Ah, if you specified the name, that's what I did for the operand word. Oh man, that was hilarious. I forgot I did that. Okay, so here's what we need to do. We know they're in the list, so your opponent is... equals underscore chat user collection dot so we're going to grab that. So that gets us our opponent. See, we did these display name things here, but if we just pass in chat users instead, then we don't have to do that, and the comparison can happen between the objects. Ooh, is it not going to use that? Yeah, I'm going to have to overload equals. That's what I was just realizing. I had forgotten I was going to have to do that. Hang on. So the bot tries to keep itself alive, so it doesn't let go of the DLLs. That's what's happening there. Either way, that's going to break all the tests and a couple of other things like that. We will continue this next time, I think. So, a couple of things I do want to mention here in the chat. Our bot is not running, so I will need to fix those. Let me just spam out these things that don't have any meaning at all when the bot doesn't actually run. There we go. Hey bot, welcome. So if you haven't yet, check out our Discord. I linked that in chat. Our code is out on GitHub. You can find our code there. If you want to see archives of our videos, make sure you check out the video section here on Twitch, or also you could check out our YouTube channel, which has a much larger set of our videos, including playlists for finding them. You can find it at youtube.com/c/devchatter over there. You can also follow DevChatter on Twitter, or you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Brendonius. And I am going to roll our credits here as well, and I will potentially either fix this code up off stream, or I will do it on our next stream. A couple of things. I'm thinking about doing a bonus stream tomorrow for anyone who is interested. Also, thank you to our moderators and our followers today. I'm thinking about doing a bonus stream tomorrow where we are going to react to the .NET Conf stuff. If you think that's a good idea, let me know somewhere, Twitter, Discord, something like that here in the chat. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know, and I might do that bonus stream tomorrow. So we will see whether that happens or not. Then, let's see. I think we are probably good. So, I will talk with you all either tomorrow or on Thursday. So either way, have a great rest of your Tuesday, and thanks for watching, everyone. Happy coding!